What is up, guys? It is Joe. We are back. We're talking ball about the Cats today. Back to basketball, specifically about the transfer portal, as two new names to watch have popped into the transfer portal at the deadline. Two people I'm going to discuss today connected to Kansas State, and I'm excited to do that with you. Before I start talking about each player, let me tell you this. If you like the channel, if it's your first time here, your 100th, be sure and consider hitting that subscribe button. It does help me out immensely, and it will keep my videos on your feed as we try to get through this offseason together. Now, we've got two dudes that have jumped in the portal and both have ties to Kansas State. One is on the nose, one is kind of a through people type tie-in, but I'm going to talk about two different players here in today's video, starting off with a guy who was rumored to visit K-State here in the near future. I know there's a lot of stuff that has to go right for this to happen, but UNCW transfer forward Trazarien White. Now, I'll show some highlights here, and jumping off the bat, this is a dude. This is the quintessential thing of what we describe dudes as a K-State fan. This is a dude. This is the perfect example of who he is as a player. Now, to start things off, there's an interesting list of visits before Kansas State. It is going to be a gauntlet. I'm not going to lie to you, it's going to be a gauntlet. This is a player that is going to deserve every bit of the recruiting he does get. I say that with an understanding that there's going to be a competition here. That's what I'm going to say. So John Rothstein, shout out to the Rothman himself, tweeted out today saying, UNC Wilmington transfer Trazarien White tells me that he will take the following visits. Texas Tech today and Saturday. That would be, shoot, I definitely should be looking at my calendar, but whatever. So today and Saturday, you're watching this on Saturday, so that, the visit will be wrapping up today. TCU Sunday and Monday. And then Mississippi State Thursday and Friday. So that'd be like the 9th and the 10th, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And the final visit mentioned in the tweet is Kansas State the 12th through the 14th of May. So that would be the Sunday, Monday coming up here in a week. Now I'm going to call him Traz White for the sake of the video, and that's a pretty sweet thing to call him. I don't know if he goes by Traz ever, but that's pretty sweet. So Traz White is an absolute dog. K-State would be thrilled to get him in the building. And I got to say this first things first, it kind of depends on where we stand with Baba Miller. From the sounds of it, Baba Miller is close to the deciding stage. I know that Kansas State is in that race, but it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up because Trazarien White fits that same wing forward role that Baba Miller would. Obviously, they're different players, but they would both go to that 3-4 spot on the team. You could definitely get away with playing them together. I'm not saying you couldn't, but I do think that recruitment is going to hinge a little bit on Baba Miller. That being said, Traz White is a home run hit. The dude averaged 19.8 points per game last season. That is 39th in the country. 6.8 rebounds, 1.6 assists, and was an incredibly efficient scorer. He shot 49.3% from the field, and from three, the kid shot 39%. This dude is a scorer through and through. He was actually an unranked player coming out of high school, which is really baffling to me, but Traz White as a freshman averaged 7 points. Sophomore season took a jump to 14.2. Junior season, 19.8 with the Seahawks. Now, I know what you're thinking. You see the list of who he's visiting, who he's going to. There's a lot of things that have to go right to get him to K-State. He has to get through Texas Tech. They're going to throw some money at him. He has to get through TCU. Similar thing. K-State's already stolen a player from TCU. Mississippi State, they're Mississippi State. It is what it is. And then he would get to K-State the 12th to the 14th. Most people would look at that and say, well, he's probably going to commit here the first couple of visits. I don't know if he'll make it that long. The good thing I saw today is on his Instagram story, he popped up a picture and someone was asking a question, responded to a poll, and basically asked, hey, when are you planning to commit? When are you announcing your commitment? He said, the 15th is when I'm planning to announce my college decision. So K-State has that opportunity. It's not a situation where, okay, he's going to announce the 10th, and then maybe if things go wrong, he visits Kansas State. That's not necessarily the idea. So K-State has the last visit there. As long as you get through Texas Tech, TCU, I don't feel too worried about Mississippi State. I know Chris Jans can be a pretty solid recruiter, but if K-State can land Traz White, that is a home run addition. He's a Big 12 Player of the Year type player, and I think he's going to fit in wherever he goes. But it's kind of interesting. He announced it a cut-down list that featured Baylor, TCU, and Mississippi State. For whatever reason, no more Baylor. Now it's just, a couple of different teams jumping at him. So TCU, Texas Tech, Mississippi State, and Kansas State would likely be the cut-down list. So it goes without saying it will be an interesting recruitment to follow. But Traz White is absolutely that dude, and I would love the addition at Kansas State. Now, our second player I want to talk about here. It is Samford forward Achor. Now, I don't know if it's Achor or Achor, so whichever way I end up saying it for this video, that's what we're rolling with. But first things first, Achor's connections to Kansas State, they're pretty cool. So he played junior college at the same college that Naquan Tomlin went. He was a teammate with Naquan Tomlin in 2021 at Chipola, the junior college that is really a powerhouse for churning out Division I talent. But Achor also conveniently went to the exact same high school that Bebe Igiola did. So two quick K-State ties that are both beneficial. K-State's had success with both Chipola and the high school that they went to. I forget off the top of my head. I should have had that pulled up. But either way, Achor Last season, you probably know the name if you see the name. The kid balled out against KU in the tournament and was one of the best players for Samford. Samford was a lights-out three-point shooting team, and even though Achor is a center for the team, 6'9", 227 pounds, the dude was one of the best shooters in the country. He shot a lot of threes, and he made a lot of threes. So in 33 games played, only for an average of 22.7 minutes per game, keep that in mind because that's ridiculous when you hear these numbers, Achor averaged 16.1 points, 6.1 rebounds, 1.5 assists on 58.6% shooting from the field. We talk about efficiency for a reason. This is the perfect example. From three, get ready to have your socks knocked off. The kid shot 43.5% from three as a sophomore. That's ridiculous. Achor is the perfect fit, and I know that with Traz White, there's an immediate connection. Hey, he's going to consider visiting K-State. With Achor, I haven't really heard anything. I haven't heard a situation where it's like, hey, he's visiting anybody, really. So I don't know where anybody stands with Achor. But you see the connections with Naquan Tomlin's former college. You see the connections with Bebe's high school. So you know that there's some type of element there. But this is a great dude to bring in. I know that we're kind of up in the air in terms of our center spot, but the last 3 games of the season for Achor, Furman, ETSU, and KU, he goes 28 points, 25 points, 23 points. So against Kansas and Hunter Dickinson, first of all, he put him on a poster twice. Those were both massive dunks. You probably have seen on social media. If you haven't, they're pretty sweet to go check out. He had 23, 8, and 2 against Dickinson. Against ETSU, the game before that, he had 25, 9, and 4, the 4 being blocks. The game before that, he had 28 and 14. That's ridiculous. This is an efficient player, and he hasn't been playing basketball for that long. He's not a guy that grew up playing basketball since 3 or 4, the first thing he did was dribble a basketball. This is a guy that's similar to Naquan Tomlin, where he gets into it a little bit late and is rapidly developing. Achor would be an incredible addition. Now, I don't know where anybody stands with him. Like I said, I don't know if there's any K-State ties in that sense, but at least at face value, there's a couple of different ins should you go choose to pursue that role. I mean, this is a player that every single team in the country would be thrilled to have. So we won't know officially more until you start seeing some reports, or you start seeing some different tie-ins. So Achor for now is just the name that's on the market, but the dude definitely has ties to Kansas State. And if the staff pursues, this is a great guy to go after. So both the two players in today's video, Trazarien White and Achor, both of their recruitment a little bit depends on someone in front of them. So in the case of Achor, it's kind of that, where does K-State stand with Clifford Amore? We did make the cut-down list here. There's 4 teams. It's us, Georgetown, UNC, and Alabama. Those are the 4 teams making the cut-down list, and it sounds like he's announcing Sunday. K-State will likely need some closure on that before we move on to another player. If you get Clifford Amore, the need for Achor is definitely lessened. That being said, if you don't land Cliff, this is the perfect player to go towards. So you'll probably see some more aggressive movements after this weekend wraps up. In the case of Trazarien White, it's similar with Baba Miller. I don't know what we see in terms of Baba. I don't know what his timeline's like, but I would imagine it's probably before Traz White announces where he's going to college on the 15th. But either way, K-State has a chance at both. So something I wanted to talk about in today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed the highlights. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I appreciate all the support on the channel as we continue to work our way through the offseason and get closer to football season, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Go Cats.